What if everything you've been waiting for could shift faster than you ever imagined? What if the real delay was never outside of you, but hidden in the way you've been thinking about time, effort, and possibility? Most people are taught that dreams take years of struggle, that success must be earned through exhaustion, and that miracles are rare moments reserved for a lucky few. But there is a deeper principle operating beneath all of life, and it does not respond to pressure or force. It responds to belief. It responds to the state you choose to live from internally. You are not meant to spend your life chasing fulfillment as though it exists somewhere far away. You are meant to recognize that the moment you fully accept something within yourself, reality begins rearranging to reflect that acceptance back to you. The outer world is not the source of creation. It is only the mirror. And a mirror has no choice but to reflect what stands before it. The reason so many desires feel distant is because people continue placing them in the future. They hope for them, wish for them, long for them, but rarely embody them as present truth. Yet the creative power within you does not answer to longing. It answers to assumption. The instant you quietly accept that something is already yours, not with desperation or fantasy, but with calm certainty, you begin changing the conditions that shape your experience. True manifestation begins when you stop trying to get something and start living from the feeling that it has already happened. That is the shift that changes everything. Most people remain trapped in the energy of wanting. They repeat things like, I want love, I want success, or I want freedom, without realizing that wanting itself keeps the experience of not having alive. Your inner state continuously communicates with the world around you. If your dominant feeling says it hasn't happened yet, then reality continues reflecting delay. But when you internally move into the feeling of already having what you desire, your entire relationship with life changes. You stop thinking about the dream as something separate from you and begin thinking from the version of yourself who already lives it. There is a huge difference between imagining something from a distance and mentally stepping into the experience of already having it. If you were waiting for good news, instead of asking when it will arrive, you would ask yourself how you would feel if it had already arrived. You would allow yourself to experience relief, gratitude, peace, excitement, or certainty right now. That emotional shift is not pretend. It is the creative act itself. Your consciousness is the cause, and the visible world is only the result. Once your inner state changes, the external world begins adjusting to match it. The key is to make this state feel natural. You are not forcing belief or trying to convince yourself of something impossible. You are gently becoming familiar with the feeling of fulfillment until it feels normal to you. The moment something feels natural, resistance fades. And resistance is often the very thing slowing people down. Many people constantly search for proof. They keep checking for signs, analyzing circumstances, replaying conversations, or worrying about timing. But every time you desperately look for confirmation, you silently affirm that it has not happened yet. That mindset interrupts the assumption. Think about things you already accept as true in your life. You do not struggle to believe your name or your memories. They simply feel natural to you. This is the same type of certainty you cultivate regarding your desires. You quietly claim them inwardly with confidence without panic or obsession. And when doubt appears, because the mind is conditioned to question, you simply return to the feeling of completion again. Not with force, but with calm persistence. Every return strengthens the state. Every moment spent resting in fulfillment makes it more solid within you. Time begins to collapse the moment you stop emotionally placing your desires far away. Many delays are created by the belief in delay itself. Once you release the assumption that fulfillment must take forever, life can move in surprisingly fast and unexpected ways. You do not need to understand how things will unfold. The path is not your responsibility. Your role is only to accept the end result internally. Once the end is accepted, life organizes the bridge of events naturally. The greatest obstacle after assuming the wish fulfilled is resistance. Resistance is simply inner tension. It is the anxious voice asking, what if this never happens? It appears as overthinking, constant checking, fear, or emotional strain. But when something truly feels secure to you, you naturally relax. If you already had what you wanted, you would not spend every moment worrying about it. You would feel calm, steady, and at peace. That peacefulness is not weakness. It is alignment. Many people mistakenly believe they must struggle harder to make things happen. They force affirmations, obsess over techniques, and exhaust themselves trying to create certainty. But force carries the energy of doubt. Tension silently communicates fear and insecurity. The deeper creative power within you responds to trust, not strain. Relaxation is a powerful signal. It tells your mind and body that everything is safe, complete, and already handled. You cannot live in trust and fear at the same time. Relaxation says, I know it is done. Resistance says, I'm afraid it won't happen. To relax does not mean giving up on your desire. It means holding the assumption without anxiety. It means trusting the outcome without gripping it tightly. Real confidence feels calm. There is no desperation in it. There is no constant urgency. There is simply an inner knowing that what has been accepted internally must eventually appear externally. As you move through your day with trust instead of pressure, life begins to feel lighter. You stop obsessing over whether your desire will happen because deep down you already know it belongs to you. The only thing left is for the physical world to reflect what has already been accepted within. The more natural this inner certainty becomes, the easier it is to stay relaxed. In the beginning, old habits of worry may still appear. You may catch yourself doubting, overthinking, or looking for reassurance. That is completely normal. But instead of fighting those thoughts or becoming frustrated with yourself, simply return to calm confidence. Quietly remind yourself that it is already handled, then let it go again. Every time you do this, fear loses strength and trust grows stronger. Things begin to move faster the moment inner resistance starts disappearing. What once seemed impossible or far away can suddenly unfold quickly when you stop contradicting your own desire through tension and doubt. The delay was never truly in the dream itself. The delay existed in the stress, fear, and pressure surrounding it. Once that tension dissolves, the flow naturally returns. Relaxation is not passive waiting. It is active faith. It is the quiet understanding that something is already unfolding behind the scenes, even if your eyes cannot yet see evidence of it. Life responds far more to your dominant inner state than to temporary moments of fear. So breathe deeply. Release the tight grip you have on timing and control. Let your body soften. Let yourself smile inwardly at the thought that what you want is already becoming real. That feeling of lightness is important because it signals the absence of resistance. And when resistance disappears, things begin to move with surprising speed. The moment you stop pushing against your own desire, you stop delaying it. You allow what already exists in consciousness to enter your physical experience naturally. Relaxation clears the path, and once the path is clear, manifestation can feel effortless, sometimes even immediate. Many people believe words alone create reality, but words are only powerful when they carry genuine feeling behind them. Repeating affirmations mechanically without emotional conviction changes very little. The true creative force is feeling, not dramatic emotion, but the quiet inner sense that something is real and already true for you. You could repeat positive statements all day long, but if you still feel uncertain or empty inside, that inner feeling will continue shaping your experience. The world responds to your state of being, not just the sentences you speak, and your state is defined by what feels natural and believable to you. Once fulfillment begins feeling normal within, its physical expression becomes inevitable. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and reality. When you picture your desire as fulfilled, it is not only the image that matters. What truly creates change is the feeling attached to it. Ask yourself honestly, how would I feel if this had already happened? Maybe you would feel relieved, secure, grateful, appreciated, or peaceful. Allow yourself to step into that feeling gently. Do not strain to force it. Even the smallest shift is enough. Creation does not require emotional intensity. It requires acceptance. A lot of people think they need overwhelming excitement or powerful emotion to manifest something, but that is not necessary. In fact, the most powerful state often feels calm and ordinary. Think about the things you already know are true. Your name, your memories, your identity. You do not become emotional about them because they already feel natural to you. That same quiet certainty is what transforms a desire into reality. The deeper mind accepts whatever feels real. It does not debate or question it. It simply receives the impression and expresses it outwardly. And feeling is the language that reaches it most deeply. Each time you return to the feeling of already having what you desire, you are planting a new assumption into your subconscious awareness. Once that assumption is fully accepted internally, life begins expressing it externally. If you desire financial freedom, stop obsessing over exact numbers and instead focus on the feeling of ease, stability, and peace. If you want love, focus less on chasing a specific person and more on the feeling of being valued, safe, and deeply cared for. If you seek success or recognition, focus on the feeling of appreciation, confidence, and fulfillment. The external details will organize themselves around the feeling you consistently embody. People often ask how long they should continue feeling as though the wish is fulfilled. The answer is simple. Continue until it feels natural. Continue until anxiety fades. Continue until you no longer feel the need to constantly check for proof. Once fulfillment feels normal to you internally, there is nothing more to force. At that point, the state has already been accepted. Your feeling also affects the speed of manifestation. Doubt slows things down because it creates mixed signals. Confidence accelerates the process because it creates inner alignment. Reality reflects the depth of your conviction. When your inner world quietly says, "This already belongs to me," the outer world begins arranging itself to match that belief. And if doubt shows up sometimes, do not criticize yourself for it. Simply return to the feeling you prefer. You are not battling your old state. You are replacing it gently, one moment at a time. Every time you choose fulfillment over lack, trust over fear, or peace over worry, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new one. So instead of forcing, feel. Instead of stressing, feel. Instead of worrying about when things will happen, allow yourself to experience the feeling of fulfillment now. Let relief move through you. Let gratitude rise naturally. Let the state settle deeply into your mind and body. Because once the feeling of the wish fulfilled becomes your normal state, the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. There is also a deeper law operating behind all of this. Life does not simply respond to what you want, it responds to what you genuinely expect. Expectation is more powerful than hope because expectation carries certainty. Hope says, maybe someday. Expectation says, of course it will happen. Hope waits nervously. Expectation prepares calmly. When you truly expect something positive, you naturally make space for it emotionally and mentally. You align with it internally, and that alignment speeds up its arrival. Think about how you feel when you are expecting wonderful news. There is a quiet readiness inside you. You are not begging or doubting. You are simply waiting for confirmation of what you already believe to be true. That inner expectation is powerful. It sends a clear message to your deeper mind that the outcome has already been accepted. And it is that acceptance that shapes reality. If deep down you expect delays, then delays become part of your experience. If you assume life must be difficult before things improve, obstacles will continue appearing to support that belief. But the moment you begin expecting smooth solutions, unexpected opportunities, and fast breakthroughs, you remove the invisible mental walls that slow everything down. Many people unknowingly train themselves to believe that good things must take a long time. They repeat ideas like nothing changes overnight or big dreams always require years. Over time, those thoughts become hidden instructions sent into reality. And life simply reflects them back, not because the world is against you, but because it mirrors what you consistently accept as true. Real expectation is not loud or forceful. It is quiet certainty. Think about ordering something you have already paid for. You naturally expect it to arrive. You do not spend every moment doubting whether it exists. You may not know the exact time it will show up, but you trust that it is coming. That trust creates ease, and ease allows movement. But when you constantly ask, when will it happen? You reveal uncertainty. Doubt stretches time while certainty shortens it. The more normal your expectation becomes, the less distance exists between your assumption and the physical result. Expecting something positive to happen quickly is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is removing the belief that fulfillment must pass through endless struggle before it can appear. The moment you let go of that old belief, you open yourself to immediacy. If you look back at your own life, you have already seen how quickly things can change. One conversation can shift everything. One opportunity can appear unexpectedly. A problem that felt impossible can suddenly resolve overnight. These moments prove that time is more flexible than most people realize. The real question is whether your inner state expects movement or postponement. Expectation also affects the way you move through life. When you truly expect something good, your energy changes. You carry yourself differently. You speak with more confidence. You notice possibilities that you once ignored. Your inner certainty subtly changes your behavior, and that behavior contributes to rapid transformation. But the deepest power exists beyond action itself. It exists in the assumption that your fulfillment is inevitable. Once inevitability replaces uncertainty, everything begins accelerating. You stop trying to force outcomes and begin allowing life to unfold naturally. So if you want something to happen faster, pay attention to your expectations. Ask yourself honestly if part of you still believes it must take time. Does the idea of receiving your desire today feel unrealistic or shocking to you? If it does, gently begin changing that belief. Start entertaining the possibility that things can happen much sooner than you were taught to expect. Allow yourself to imagine receiving the call, the message, the opportunity, or the breakthrough before the day ends. Let that possibility feel normal instead of impossible. The moment your expectation aligns with fulfillment, the bridge of events becomes shorter. Life begins responding with a smooth and natural momentum that matches your certainty. You are not controlling time. You are choosing a state of consciousness, and within that state, time responds differently. So begin expecting positive outcomes. Expect solutions. Expect opportunities. Expect blessings you did not even plan for. But do it calmly without tension or desperation. Let your expectation feel light, steady, and natural. Because expectation determines speed. And when you truly expect something now instead of someday, you remove one of the greatest barriers that ever existed. Life moves at the speed your certainty allows. Once you truly understand this, you stop exhausting yourself trying to control every circumstance directly. Instead, you focus on transforming the source, which is your own state of being. Most people live as if life is simply happening to them. When circumstances become difficult, they feel powerless. When people disappoint them, they feel confused or hurt. But what if reality is not attacking you or working against you? What if it is simply reflecting the beliefs, emotions, and expectations you repeatedly hold inside yourself? This does not mean you consciously create every single event. It means your dominant emotional patterns shape the experiences you repeatedly encounter. Your habitual thoughts, assumptions, and feelings create momentum over time. When you live in a state of lack, your attention naturally finds more lack. When you live in a state of possibility, you begin noticing opportunities that were always there but previously invisible to you. Real change always begins internally. Trying to change the reflection without changing the source is useless. You cannot expect the mirror to smile while you continue frowning. The inner shift must come first. If you want peace in your relationships, begin cultivating peace within yourself. If you want financial freedom, begin embodying feelings of stability, sufficiency, and confidence internally. The external world will gradually reorganize itself around your new state. Many people try to create change by forcing outcomes, controlling situations, or manipulating behavior. They fight the reflection instead of changing the image being reflected. But force never creates lasting transformation. A true shift only happens when your inner state changes. Once your assumptions change, your reactions naturally change too. Your energy shifts, your words shift, your presence shifts. And because your inner world has changed, the outer world eventually has no choice but to respond differently. As your inner state changes, everything about you begins to shift naturally. The way you stand, the way you speak, the energy you carry, all of it transforms. And because you are different internally, the responses you receive from life begin changing too. One of the most freeing realizations you can have is understanding that you are not controlled by appearances. Your current circumstances are not permanent truths. They are only reflections of past assumptions, old emotional patterns, and previous states of mind. They are echoes of who you used to be internally. This understanding is powerful because it removes blame and returns power back to you. Instead of constantly blaming circumstances, situations, or other people, you begin asking yourself a different question. What state am I living from? And if something unpleasant appears, you no longer panic or feel defeated. You recognize it as feedback from an old belief system rather than a prediction of your future. Then you calmly return to the state you truly want to embody. The beauty of this principle is that it works consistently for everyone. It does not choose favorites. It simply reflects whatever state you repeatedly sustain. If you consistently hold gratitude within yourself, life gives you more experiences to appreciate. If you sustain the expectation of quick solutions and positive movement, life begins responding faster. If you carry calm trust, things begin flowing with greater ease. You do not have to chase outcomes endlessly. You only need to change the image you are holding internally. Once your inner world becomes aligned with fulfillment, the outer world has no choice but to follow. It has no independent power of its own. It can only mirror your dominant assumptions over time. So if you want to experience something new, become internally familiar with the version of yourself who already has it. Think from that identity. Feel from that identity. Make decisions from that identity. Let it become emotionally natural and comfortable to you. Once it does, reality will begin reflecting it back. The outer world is always responding to the inner state. And once you truly understand this, you stop wasting energy fighting temporary appearances. Instead, you focus on shaping the source of your experience, which is your consciousness itself. In the end, the greatest transformation is not the physical result. It is the shift that happens within you. The moment you move from struggle into ease, from fear into certainty, from constantly waiting into quietly knowing, your entire reality begins reorganizing itself. You stop chasing life and start allowing it. You stop forcing and begin trusting. You stop questioning every possibility and start expecting good things naturally. Relaxation is not weakness. It is a sign of inner mastery. Trust is not blind hope. It is alignment with the state you have consciously chosen. When you stand firmly in the quiet confidence that your desire is already done, resistance fades. Time feels shorter. What once felt distant begins moving closer. The unseen slowly becomes visible. Always remember, your job is not to convince the world. Your only responsibility is choosing the inner state you want to live from. Once that state becomes natural to you, reality begins reflecting it automatically. Sometimes the changes happen gently and gradually. Other times they arrive suddenly and dramatically. But life always responds faithfully to what you consistently assume to be true. So begin expecting good things now, not with desperation or pressure, but with calm certainty. Keep your heart light. Let your mind become still. Hold firmly to the assumption that what you desire is already unfolding. Then watch how quickly life begins responding once you stop doubting your own creative power. Thank yourself for being willing to release old beliefs rooted in struggle, delay, and limitation. Thank yourself for opening your mind to a new perspective. And most importantly, thank yourself for trusting your own inner power enough to see life differently. May you leave this feeling lighter, calmer, and deeply reassured that what you seek is not far away. It is already moving toward you. Relax into that truth. Expect beautiful things. Not someday in the distant future, but now. Trust the process. Assume the best, receive with gratitude, and allow life to surprise you in ways more beautiful than you imagined. The greatest secret is not forcing life to change, but becoming the version of yourself who already trusts that it has. The moment you release fear, stop chasing, and quietly assume your desire is already yours, reality begins moving to reflect that inner certainty. Your power has never been in struggle, but in belief, feeling, and calm expectation. When your mind rests in trust and your heart no longer doubts, life responds faster than you ever imagined, because the world can only mirror the truth you consistently hold within yourself.